Hello, everybody. This is Natalie with Unicorn Properties. We're going all the way to Arizona, nice and warm Arizona with Meg. And for those who don't know you in our international groups, please do introduce yourself. Share with us, how long have you been in the business and what made you choose real estate, please.
Okay, so thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. My name is Meg Estees. I am in the Arizona market, the southern half of the state. I work two markets, both Phoenix and Tucson. I have been in real estate since 2017, and my story in how I got into real estate wasn't on purpose. I was with I have a analytical background. I worked in an analytical lab. And after being there for almost 10 years, I had my daughter. Like, long story short, there was a change in management. And shortly after being back from maternity leave, they had let me go. So I was making decent money for Tucson for where I lived. And so it was more like, what can I do that's a quick, not necessarily a degree, but like a certification or training that is cheap because I was on limited income and that could potentially make me a lot of money. So that is how I ended up in real estate. And I've been here now since, like I said, since 2017, and I just love it.
Nice. So it's been a while since you started and you've seen like all the up and downs and the
Mhm.
craziness from COVID.
Yes.
How do you, I think you're a systems girl, as you said, how does that, or what are your systems and how do you structure them to help you in your business? And not only for you, but maybe some of the agents that might be listening.
So I think systems are really important. When I first got into real estate, I was on a team, and so they had a system that we followed. I ended up going solo within less than 2 years of being on the team because I ultimately got into this to be my own boss. Um, I struggled for a while trying to, I just did everything off the top of my head when I'd have a client or follow up. It was just kind of all over the place, and I lost a lot of business from it without even realizing it until it was like, oh shoot, I haven't talked to this person in so long. And it'd be people that I knew. It
Mm.
wasn't even like new clients or lead generation or anything like that. So, um, I did hire somebody to help me build out systems that are very tailored to my business, but she also taught me how to build systems. So now I'm able to teach that to other agents. So I basically have like a basic system, and then I help the agents tailor that to their business. And so we customize it based on what they might need. But I'm very big now, like so I have my systems. I very much lean into my CRM. And it's between the two, it's helped me very much build and scale my business a lot faster than if I hadn't had them in place before, because like I said, I lost a lot of business without having that.
Yeah, sometimes like when we're agents, we like, we swing it sometimes at the beginning. And
Yeah.
then it always happens that if you don't follow up with that, prospective age client and
Yeah.
you end up buying with somebody else, you're like, oh my God, if I should just put him in a list, at least one list.
At least like, yeah, an Excel sheet, something. You gotta have something to track anything. And then as you're growing, like you're growing your pipeline, it's hard to remember to connect with that many people, even if you are good at, just following a list. So that was kind of my big thing because I rely very heavily on my sphere because I'm born and raised in Arizona. So I have a lot of connections here. So it's very important that I stay in front of those people. And I do think social media helps with that too, which is, what a big training that we have. But but between the two, so systems and having social media outreach, I think like my business has just really smoothed out and taken off.
Awesome. So then would you say that, I mean, the traditional methods work, but the social media part that we always, study and love from Mike also help on the bringing new people into your pipeline up, I will think for.
Yeah, yeah. So what really resonated with me, so well, let me back up. So traditional ways do work. Like I am heavy on cold calling. That's how I was trained. I like that more than open houses and door knocking. And overall, it's been a success for me. But I've been doing it for a long time. I don't always love to cold call, but for me, it's what has worked. this last few years after joining the Wolfpack and getting all of our social media training, it has definitely helped me scale more organically. What really resonated with me, because I had a hard time getting started at first. I don't mind being on camera. I'm not shy. I love people. But for me, it was more like editing or, figuring out what to say and like I just felt like I was all over the place. And so we have a lot of guidance in that. And now that I do that, not only am I staying in front of my sphere, but it does help to bring other people to my channels and to my platforms. And one thing that Mike always said was, when you're calling or you're door knocking, it's like a one-to-one conversation. It's one person in front of you.
Mhm.
This is a way to be one to many. And that is kind of like when the light bulb went off. Okay, I need to be able to be in front of as many people as I possibly can, especially 2025. Like here we are. It's the the innovation is here, the all the futuristic methods are here. And I think some people have a really hard time with that and they don't realize like this is how it is. This is how, especially being an older person and an older agent, I have very traditional ways of doing business. And so I struggled a little bit with doing it, just doing it. But that the one to many is what changed my absolute aspect on that because it's so true. Like
Yeah.
when somebody is watching, our YouTube videos, there's multiple people watching maybe at the same time, whereas you can only be on a call with one person at a time or at in front of a door. So that's really what helped me lean into social media, which has helped stay in front of my sphere, which I rely heavy on, which I said, and then also like my channel is now being shared from my sphere because of the way that I conduct my content.
No, that's awesome. And from the transition, let's say from before and after, because you were in a different agency before, I imagine, before you
Mhm.
joined the Wolfpack and EXP. What was the before and after? How long were you there for? I mean, I'm sure you were, getting all the skills through the team and everything. And when do you switch and how was the difference?
So EXP is actually my fourth brokerage. Um, and I've been here longer than anywhere else. I started with a local team. They were part of the most popular brokerage in Tucson, and it was a top producing team. Um, when I decided to go solo, it was right after having my son. And I switched to another local brokerage. It was more so at the time just a place to hang my license. I didn't really lean into that brokerage very much. But then my husband and I moved to Phoenix for his career. And so I started doing business up there. And I joined a local, like boutique brokerage up there. And that worked okay for me for a little while. It was nice because I was finally making some connections. And this was in the height of COVID. Like things were still really weird. I didn't have any friends or anything, so I struggled a lot at first, like trying to find where to go. So I thought, okay, maybe a smaller brokerage is what I need because it's more localized. Um, then so as I'm building business in Phoenix, my Tucson business is still going. And
Hmm.
so being part of a local brokerage in Phoenix, they don't have any resources for Tucson. You can do both, but there's very little support because some things are different. The legalities are the same, but like the MLS is different and some of the liabilities are different. So I did some research with my cousin actually, who it was at the time he was in San Diego, another real estate agent. And there was a mass exodus happening from California to Arizona.
Hmm.
And so we wanted to figure out how can we structure ourselves as a team without going through all these logistics of state by state teams. And so that's what led us to EXP. Um, he him and I did so much research and we landed on the Wolfpack because the systems are just so innovative and then the community is like amazing and I think that's what keeps me here is I don't have this little local outreach anymore. It's borderless. I mean, we are international and we support each other. And I love that I can use somebody's system who is not here to implement in my business here, which makes me stand out. And so that's kind of how I ended up here.
How long has it been so far? You said the longest.
Oh, so I've been here since 2020, 4 years, 4 years.
Okay.
I just actually celebrated my 4 year anniversary in August. So yeah.
We're the same age then in the 4 years too.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
No,
Yeah.
because I think during COVID, everybody was kind of waking up and like, what do I do? Do I like what I do? Do I li want to live here? You know, and then people were like, well, why am I here if I don't like it?
Right.
Lots of people left California, many people left in, you know, here in Chicago, the city, the downtown area, it was empty.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. A lot of my business in those years were people relocating. So
Hmm.
it was definitely different, but we had such great support in our group that and that's why I'm still here.
Awesome. No, this is great because then you have the combination and the best of both worlds. You
Yeah,
have the, you know, the
absolutely.
traditional and
Mm.
you know how to run the business as is run usually, you know, by agents that have been doing it for a long time. And then the other innovation, AI, social
Oh,
media,
it's
that is
amazing.
super
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah.
I think it's like being on a stage because you kind of like you say one too many instead of doing that. One on one is super important too, but the one too many, that's where you start, and then you can go to the
Yeah.
ones.
And I agree. And I think that's like a big thing. Like you mentioned AI. So, because we've been doing a lot of training in AI, and that has really helped me as well. So that the people in my pipeline who have intention and I have a closer relationship with and need a little bit more personal time with, the AI systems that we have created more time for me so that I can be one-on-one with those people when it's needed.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then for in the from the agent perspective, now if somebody sees you right now, you know, you're in their market, and they want to reach out for, you know, for see, you know, mentorship, help locally, what would be like your team and upline can help them with? Because many agents are right now in that space of like, maybe I move, maybe I go somewhere else. Is, you know, that's the
Yeah,
time that they're like thinking about what's next.
right. So I love my upline. I mean, I have so my sponsor is Suman Kim, and for anybody who doesn't know about Suman, he's a producer. He is a top producing agent in EXP. He's one of the most humble people I have ever known. Um, he built his entire business off of YouTube, so completely organic, and just has a great outlook on business in general. So he's not somebody who got into only attract agents. He's a very much into production.
Mm-hmm.
And then above him we have Mike and Connor, and their systems and their training have been amazing. We have the Wolfpack and then the Social Agent Academy, which is the training inside of the Wolfpack, and I just love the support. But what I've also learned is there are people within our community who are willing to share that even are not in my upline. And I think that's really important to know because some of the agents that I have talked to recently, they don't necessarily want to do YouTube the same way that Suman does it. Or even me, like I've leaned heavy into short form content and they may not be into that. But so with co-sponsorship, we're able to provide the other system that they may need, whether that's going to be CRM, whether that's going to be cold calling, whether they want to do open houses, or maybe they do want to be on camera. So I think it's very important that we have that. And it's not necessarily so much on who your upline or your downline is. I rely heavy on our community in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, like you don't have to be in the same location to support each other.
Right. Hmm.
Because your sponsor is in Texas, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And well, I get a lot of there's a couple agents here in EXP that they're like, why didn't you join somebody local? I said, because I don't want local trainings. I know how to work my market. I know I've been doing it for a long time. I want to know what's working in these other places so that I stand out here because
mhm.
it's going to be different than what anybody else is doing here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think that's the power of the co-sponsorship and the whatever aligns with the agent and you know what's best for them, what they're looking for. And
Yep.
super important for us because we're kind of broad in the international side of things, you know, with the cross borders, people coming into the US or leaving the US. but having those local partners are super important for those agents that are
Yep,
new. I want, a little bit of hand holding until they're ready to just, jump off and then do the thing.
absolutely.
Like you just
Yeah.
did, right? Like at the beginning, you join a team, you join a group, so you can get all the basics, and then
Yep.
after when once you know how to do it, you can go on your own.
Yep.
And
And
it,
I think that's so, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
interrupt
no,
you.
no, go ahead.
I think it's also important too that a lot of our Wolfpack isn't a team necessarily, but we're an organization,
Yeah,
so you don't have to pay for leads and you don't have to give up your commission and all these things that go with a team and do business the way that they want you to, but we still teach each other everything that we know,
yeah.
based on what that person needs.
Yeah, for the new agents, I would like to maybe share that difference because sometimes we mix and match the word team when it's an
Yes.
organization. Since you were in a team before and now you're, solo or independent, but you're building your downline, can you just share a little bit of, both scenarios so then people
Yeah. Yeah.
understand?
So a traditional team is you have the team lead, and that is the entire business is built under that person. They get all of the MLS credit, which when I left my team, that was probably harder for me than anything because if you look at my past, it looks like I just got started in 2020 when really I've been doing this since 2017 because all of my sales went under one person. Um, when you have a team and the team lead, gets the production awards or, any sort of like bonus, whatever that team looks like, whatever that brokerage has for that team, it's always under the one person or the couple that started it. And so for me, that's very hard because I work really hard and I want my credit almost more than the paycheck. Um, but then, that's the other side of things too. Depending on the type of team you're on, you usually do have to give a commission split, which sometimes can be higher than what the brokerage usually charges, if you're solo within the brokerage. And now, don't get me wrong, the team lead is providing leads and education and should be providing support, which is why you pay a split of your commission. Um, for me, it was a little too high. I learned what I needed to learn and I got out of there when I did. And I'm grateful for the training that I did get because um it definitely helped set me up
Mhm,
for the basics. But that so going solo and not having the same support that we have here was also just as hard.
mhm.
This was kind of like a great mix of like, okay, I can be a solo agent and I can still get all the training and all the support. And I am learning how to generate my own, um, not just generate leads, but steady business, right? And it's just a total game changer. I don't know of any other brokerage or group or even another team that is doing what we do. And that to me was very, very important because I don't have a great outlook when it comes to teams. I am very, very biased on being a solo agent. Um, and that again, that was just my experience. There are some really good teams out there if somebody's looking to join a team, but most of the time you join a team, you get what you need, and then you leave. And when you leave a team, it's almost like starting all over again. And sometimes they don't let you take your leads with you. Even if you've been working them for a couple years, that's what happened to me is anything that they provide to you, they keep if you leave. And so um, that was one thing when I joined the brokerage in Phoenix. I had asked the broker owner because I had an interview to see if it was a good fit. And I said, I don't have business here. I'm might want to join a team. And he said that I don't think you should. You know what you're doing, because you're going to leave a team and then you're going to start all over again. And we don't want to have that conversation again. So it made total sense at the time, and I'm actually glad that I didn't do that. But that's what I love about having the Wolfpack and an organization versus a team. We're all part of the same community. We have access to the same trainings, we have access to each other's uplines and even if we're not part of anybody's line.
Yeah,
And so to me that's more valuable than a team.
yeah. Because sometimes we the newer agents maybe they're like, maybe Meg has a team, but it's just her organization, the support that you get as if you were in a team, but without the high splits and like sometimes
Absolutely.
you only
Hmm.
get 40%, sometimes 50, sometimes less because they're giving you the leads. Someone, they're working it with
Yep.
you. So in the other side, you just get your full split with, EXP, just like a solo agent, but you get all the
Right.
benefits that
Yep.
come with it.
Yep. Everybody can make icon. Everybody can, do what they need to do. And what not again, that's what I love is like we teach you how to do that,
Yeah,
right? Like the Wolfpack teaches you how exactly depends on what you want to do with your business, but we have an avenue for all of it.
yeah. And for the education that, we've been sharing with the group, um, locally, let's say, do you host any events because you're very involved in your community?
Mhm.
And what can I mean for agents that are curious to reach out and be like, okay, where is Meg, and then how can we work with you, in a
Yeah.
regular basis? Do you do any meetups or?
I do. I do. So, so in our little Wolfpack community here in Tucson, we do meet weekly. And we have a lot of support with each other, um, help each other out, what's working, what's not working, that type of thing. And then once a month, I do hold a kind of like a roundtable event for agents from all over. It's broker agnostic. You don't have to be part of EXP. And we typically have a topic. It's like right now the big thing is it's a weird seller's market, right? Like
Yeah.
listings are kind of sitting a little bit longer. So that was a topic. And we have agents that are coming from all over that are also sharing what's working for them, what's not working for this person. Let's figure out how to brainstorm and collaborate. And another reason why I do that is not just to help educate people, but I think it's important to know the agents in your market. And that way, if you ever end up in a deal with somebody, it might be a little bit easier to work with them because they know the type of person you are. So I do that once a month. And then I partner with some of the people in Phoenix as well, some of the Wolfpack in Phoenix to do um they usually have some events up there and so they'll let me know and then I get an invite going out this way and if there's anybody from Tucson that wants to go to these things then we all just kind of go together. So yes, I'm big on networking, I'm big on community and that I love events. I have an event background, so it works really well. And so it's a regular thing here for anybody who might want to either come and just see what it's about or lean in and have a conversation about.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's great because everybody that joins the community is like their own personal brand in a way. You were
Yeah,
saying that, with a team leader, if you're an organization that has a team, which EXP also has team structures,
yeah,
but as you were saying, they're the face and you're, just working towards their number. And now here, you just not only join events,
right.
join Meg locally, or, at a distance also, if you have your
Yeah,
team, your group is in Texas. Uh,
yeah,
but how important to you has been the personal brand? Because some people are like, well, I've been in my own brokerage, I have my own brand for 20 years, and I don't want to lose that. And you, for the same reason, want to build that outside of a team because you wanted to have your own personal brand. How important it is to that, and then also, for the events that you do, because people remember you now of,
yeah,
in the.
yeah. And so I love that question actually because I had this whole idea in my head that a brand was a logo and colors and font, right? And we have a whole training in how your brand is actually who you are as a person and what you bring to the table essentially. So I have hyper locally branded myself as your AZ homegirl because I do business in multiple markets in Arizona. So I didn't want to just be tied to one market. But it's just like a nice thing to kind of throw in there. When you have a branding already done, if you're not with EXP, what is great about EXP is you can bring all of that brand with you. And all you do is put brokered by EXP. That's it. Even if you are a team, you don't have to change anything or a brokerage. We have brokerages come over all the time that don't have to change anything about their business. They just add that little EXP logo and they're good to go. And then they don't have as much liability or overhead. So, anybody who's been kind of second guessing as far as I don't want to leave because I'm so comfortable. My branding is set up and it's going to be so hard. We do make it really easy for the switch. And as somebody who has changed brokerages, like, I mean, this is my fourth one. I have, I've changed quite a few times and it wasn't as challenging as I thought it would be. And I think that's really important too, because I do think that's why a lot of people don't leave where they're at, even if they're so unhappy with their brokerage.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that's a great point to bring up.
I mean, that's one of the comments I get from especially if they're a broker and
Hmm.
or they're they build their own personal brand, because there's some brands out there, the larger franchises, that they don't let you at all use your name. You have to represent their logo. And to me, it's
Hmm.
more like you're not only paying your franchise fee, you're only building their brand. And then
Yeah,
the day you go, you're just like you take nothing with you.
right.
It's like a nice thank you for building our brand, but there is this shift, I think, like now these days, at least in the last 5 to few years, that now personal brands are stronger than the actual big brands, because now
Yeah,
everything is shifting. Like I feel on the how do you connect with people more than if you're Coca-Cola
absolutely.
or something.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree. And I think that's like that as a whole, not just in real estate, right? Like we want to support mom and pop versus corporate, or the little, we want to support our neighbor versus some big company that's just coming in and planting a building. And I think in some senses, like real estate is the same way. You're right, like some of these brokerages make you promote their name. And I'm don't get me wrong, I love EXP. I love promoting EXP. I could talk about EXP all day, but not everybody wants to do that. And you don't have to, which is nice. You just follow compliance and you're good to really market yourself however you need to.
Yeah. And in this space that we've been, like, what would be some of the I would say horror stories, but more like you've encountered that being like the dark side of the business, because people talk about how everything's good, you can get a very nice commissions, but there's also that dark side when you're like, oh my god, the market is not what I want it to be, or
Right?
my sales are like, because all around the world I keep hearing the market's slow, but it's always good for somebody else. But to you, in your perspective, what has been like that dark space of the real estate, at least in your state?
Yeah, yeah, no. That it's funny that you mentioned that because when you meet anybody who got into the business in 2020 versus through the last couple years,
Mhm.
they think real estate is hard right now. And for me, it's like this is how it was before.
Yeah.
You have to work for your money. As far as like the darker side of things, and this is probably more production based than anything else. Um, I think that we are dealing with a lot on the back end from either a buyer side or a seller side. I have these conversations all the time with people about how sellers think it's 2021 and buyers think it's 2008, like
A little bit of
it's
time.
neither market. So, that had like this year has definitely been challenging for a lot of us. And I mean it puts me back into my roots, like my how I did business again before the height of the market. But I mean, there are times when like business does get slow, and if you don't have that system in place, you have peaks and valleys, and I think that for me, that was my dark side. It's like this month I'm doing three escrows, but next month I have nothing coming in. And then what comes after that? And oh shoot, I gotta find a buyer right now. Where normally most buyers, well, even sellers, they're not ready to go right now this second. You have to nurture them and you can't force them. You don't want to force them because then the business is even harder. Um, in my market, we're definitely slower than we were within the last few years. I don't foresee it being so detrimental, but I am dealing with like I'm at a point right now where I am trying to help clients at almost any price point. I have anything from like 100,000 coming to almost 1 million. So, um, and neither is easier than the other. It's just you can't be picky. And I feel like a lot of agents feel like they can be picky, which if you have a niche, you kind of can. But I don't know. The dark side of things is like the transactional side of what we're seeing now. Not transactional, but like more of like getting production going and keeping it steady and flowing. And so that's why it's really important to have like the systems in place because if not, it does turn into a nightmare. And the amount of business, I mean, yes, I want to gain a check, but I don't want it to be
Yeah.
I want it to be a struggle every single time.
Yeah. No, it's consistency also, like we're back to the personal brand, like, what's what you people know you for. So even when it's slow, they can remember you or think about you or send you that referral.
So I have recently, I do all kinds of business. I usually say I won't turn down any type of business. I mean, I had last year, maybe the year before, I had somebody come to me with a listing that was underground. The entire house was underground. Um, and I took it because I like those challenges. But I am diving into our land and ranch space. So EXP just rolled out the land and ranch division, which I'm super excited about. I am one of the co-founding members, which is awesome because I love to be a part of something so great. Um, and the reason why I did that is because, well, I actually live in the southeast part of Tucson in a community called Vale. And I'm surrounded by lots of different there's a lot of land, but there's a lot of ranch properties.
Mhm.
Um, and the reason why I wanted to dive into that, and so for anybody listening who, whether you're a new agent or you want to scale your business and you always think luxury, right?
Mhm.
I got to get into luxury. I want the $1 million price point. I wanted that too. But in Tucson especially because that's where I live, the actual inventory and size of the luxury market is very tiny. It's not big at all.
Mhm.
Um, and there are the go-to agents for that. You mentioned somebody's name and you know who they are and they are the luxury, there's quite a few. And so it's very competitive. Whereas there is no land and ranch specialist here. And you can find these ranch properties for higher end price points, 700,000 up to a million. Um, and that's so I decided that's what I was going to do. Instead of going luxury, I'm going to go after the ranches that are worth the same amount of money. I don't have to be dressed up. I can go in jeans and boots.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I have a background in it. Like when I was younger, we lived on acreage. I had horses. I've sold many horse property. But now I'm just going on a bigger scale because there's no go-to for it. So I think I found my new niche and I'm very much leaning into it. The land and ranch division has provided so much value for our sellers and buyers. It's also not so much of a local market as it is it's very regional, and expands to national. So you might have somebody in the east part of the country who is looking for big land lots, whether that's a ranch or bare land or even like commercial ranches that doesn't know what we have out here because there's no way to provide that outside of the MLS. And so yeah, so land and ranch division has provided that, which I'm super excited about.
Well, I'm excited to see what comes out from there because I mean I'm gonna be following all the posts in social media that you're gonna be sharing because
Yeah.
they just launched the whole program, and then it's super important to cater to most of the community, right? Like luxury is so broad, and the market is not as wide as people want
Right.
to move to a bigger place, in the country, and
Yeah.
and then that's what they're looking for. But nobody is. It's not sometimes it's not fancy enough. Like some people that specialize in the equestrian
Absolutely.
areas
Yeah.
but then they're huge pieces of land and millions of dollars.
Yeah. There are some people in the group who, like when I'm talking land and ranch, like wind farms and wineries and oil. I mean, like there is money in this industry. And I mean, like in this particular niche.
Yeah.
And it's just so untouched. And so I'm ready to get in there and do all of that. And I'm ready to teach people how to do it as well.
That's awesome. No, I'm excited. So,
Me
for everybody who else who let's say they don't know you, how can they find you? Because I mean, this is very niche, and I'm sure they're gonna want to connect with you on this specific topic if they're aiming to grow their price point wherever they are, and whether it's the topic or the location, they can reach out to you.
Yeah, so Instagram is probably best as far as like an easy find. It's your AZ homegirl. Same with Facebook. I do have a website, estesHomesAZ.com. And then you can always call or text me 520-980-9880. And those are all direct to me. I don't have somebody on the back end working that. So anybody who reaches out, I will definitely connect and we can have a conversation.
It's awesome. No, and I will post your links below as well so they can reach out to you. But the land and ranch, I think, is something that I haven't heard at least another agent so far that I've talked to focus on, and
Yeah.
it's very I think it's gonna be amazing content because the how, the what define where, um and then all the specifics and what type of
Yeah.
there is
I'm
out.
excited to help people learn it because it's been there's a lot more to it than even what I realized. And so I get to learn, which I love to. I love to consistently learn. And I'm excited to share with people who want to get into this space because like we mentioned, like it's not luxury isn't always the way to go. I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely different avenues that can make you a lot of money.
Well, thank you so much, Meg. I learned so much today on the other side of the other states.
No, and thank you so much for having me. And I really appreciate it. And yeah, anytime. I'm always happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks again, everybody. Please reach out to Megan directly. We'll have her links below. And for everybody else, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Hopefully, you enjoyed this episode. Our intention is for you to get inspired and just take your business to the next level. We just share tips, and if anything like we share resonates with you, you want to take your business global, you want to expand to other cities and states without the effort of incorporating every single state, and also you want to expand to other countries, you might want to chat with us. Maybe we can help you doing the step-by-step plan to get to that goal. If you want to have a group call between three of us or just have a one-on-one with me, I'm happy to connect. My calendar will be in the link below. And also, you can always text us or call us, and we'll be able to chat more about what are the needs that you have right now in your business and how we can cater to that with our platform. That's it for today. Stay tuned, and we'll see you guys in the next video.